All right. Good morning and welcome to section8consulting.com and our YouTube channel. Today, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays for 2026. I know we got Thanksgiving this week, couple of days, and of course, Christmas season coming. But I've got a big announcement. As many of you know, I told you that for the holiday season, which would be this week, I'll report some positive news in the market. So HUD has made a decision that even has shocked me. President Trump and Scott Turner, that presides over HUD, is now opened up I guess you could say, a hotline, and they are involving the feds now. So the situation is this. They're starting the program there in Memphis, Tennessee. They'll be the first, and many, many more will follow in the next coming days. But the FBI, HIS, OIG, so in total, I think 5 federal agencies will be accepting anonymous tips for those in project-based housing. Now, what I find so lovely about this is it's really a black eye for the housing authority, because the tip line is for project-based housing, better known as public housing, and not vouchers, but public housing. These are the very properties the housing authority owns in many of the states and many counties around the country, roughly 4,300 housing authorities. And in many circumstances, the housing authority seems to be rather complicit in allowing drug dealers, prostitutes, trafficking, and a number of other issues in these properties, and doing nothing. The housing authority's own employees managing these properties, and they turned it into a crime syndicate, basically. So Scott Turner and President Trump are taking a rather extreme measure here. This will not involve the police. This will involve the feds and 5 federal agencies. They're now going to storm, starting with Memphis, Tennessee, all the project-based housing. So you're on notice. And let me tell you the list here. I want to make some clarity. I want to make sure we're very clear about who's going to be put out, because they're not joking with this. Don't expect Memphis City Police or the Houston Police to visit your projects. You expect the feds to come to your door and remove you, okay? They will not be $200 in your pass go. They will shackle your ass and drag you off to a federal prison, okay, under most circumstances. So let's talk about what they're going to be targeting, okay? So it says down here, and I'm reading from the report, they're going to be going after anybody with warrants, and it's criminal, suspected of criminal activity, illegal aliens. If you're there, you pack your shit, you're gone, okay? If you are a sex offender or SO, whether you're visiting or not, if you're in that property, you're gone, will be federally charged. Traffickers, you will also be criminally charged. They'll make no distinction between you and a prostitute. You're gone, and you'll be federally charged. Moving on from there, any gang activity, suspected activity, you get tatted from head to toe, you're gone. You're going to federal prison, okay? Beyond that, drug distribution. If they even so much as suspect a crack pipe, meth pipe, you blow a puff of weed out there, you're gone. Okay. Moving on from there, drug distribution, and of course, fraud. And we don't mean just regular fraud. We mean those that are utilizing project-based housing and having their guests come over that are criminals. Okay. And so be on your P's and Q's, because you'll get an eviction plus a federal arrest. And so they're clearing out project-based housing and public housing the same way they have addressed immigration throughout the nation. They intend on starting to storm all these projects. Here's the good news, guys, for those of you that are in project-based housing. Since the housing authority is keenly aware and complicit in the activity, every report goes against that housing authority, and ultimately will get them investigated. It's open to the general public as well as the people that live there, the neighbors that live outside the project-based housing and on the same street and so on. You can report. That means grandchildren, grandpa, grandma. You get the whole family, 20 reports. The more you guys report, the more that housing authority will get shut down. People will get indicted, and it's a big black eye for them, but they'll get investigated by the feds. So it's not just criminals. It's also the housing authority. If you're going to run a syndicate out there, call yourself a housing authority, own the building and manage it, and allow prostitution, drug activity, and that includes the maintenance man. If you suspect the maintenance man changed the light bulb, but he's out there negotiating deals, put his ass under there, report his ass. If the manager, the assistant manager, or anybody in that property that runs it, including the pool boy, if you believe they meet any of these criteria, phone it in. It's anonymous. Nobody's going to know who you are. The more this happens, will instigate a federal investigation, and the feds will be out there. And so they're emptying this shit out. So we wonder, well, how do we get vouchers? How do we get housing? Well, pretty soon it will be an impossibility to be a criminal and be in project-based housing. Again, this will not be addressed. Don't think you're going to talk your way out of it with the local police. The feds are coming, okay? That's why the matter is so serious. And it's not one federal agency, it's 5. And if the president so desires, he can also send the U.S. National Guard and other military servicemen there that have been federalized to arrest you. So the 80-year run of renting people's project-based housing to produce your crack cocaine and meth and allowing all your little thugs and other friends into the property is no longer going to work out for you. You will end up indicted on very serious charges. And unlike the state, you're not going to get probation. You're going to do 75 to 85% of your time, and you're going to get what we most quaintly call Section 9. Okay, not Section 8, but Section 9. 3 hots and a cot in the federal prison, because they intend on, at this point, indicting people at the federal level, regardless of it. Okay, and if you've got enough, then you're deep water. So the game is over. They're effective today for Memphis. So all this open air market, drugs and all that, it's done. Once these people arrive on your project-based housing in that neighborhood, you, the criminals, and the housing authority, you run the risk. You run the risk of being arrested. The game is over. Now, while I don't expect that they're going to be able to clear every problem out of every building, I can tell you that every time the president's addressed issues like this, it's resulted in high incarceration and people on planes out of the country as well. So if you are in the country illegally, you're gone. If you bring people there to have Thanksgiving with you, they will rip the fucking turkey out of your house, grab everybody that ain't supposed to be in the country, and you're gone. Within 24 hours, you're gone. So let this be a warning to you. So let's talk about the tip hotline, and I'm going to read you a bit from the news here. So Memphis, Tennessee Secretary of State in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, announced a new tip line. HUD, we do believe public housing should be safe. We believe that is our conviction. Our safe house community starts with safe housing. If the housing is safe, the community is safe. We want to take good care of the most vulnerable people in our country. Turner said also in announcing the new HUD crime hotline through OIG. So again, this will be handled by federal authorities and federal police. They're not interested in the Memphis police, okay? Do not think you're going to go down there and get a bond for $100. It will not happen. You're gone. So moving on from there, he goes on to say that criminals, legal aliens, sex offenders, human traffickers, and those guilty of gang activity, drug distribution, and fraud on the part of the housing authority. So this puts the housing authority on notice. If you're going to continue to run the county jail as a project-based housing, then you will get indicted as well. And all that are complicit, including the maintenance man, the manager, the assistant manager, the pool boy, anybody. If your ass don't belong on that property and you roll through there and you don't look right, you're gone, okay? The feds are not going to make a distinction. They're not going to talk. We're not going to pray for you. Your ass is gone, okay? That's all they need. So take very careful roll of what you do. And I can tell you that a lot of this is going to be rolled out nationwide in a matter of weeks. And when it does, let me tell you, there's nowhere to run. They will surround the building as they've already done with immigration status in many states. And once they surround the building, they're going to flush everybody out. It's over with. So I would advise you to go get a cardboard box, sell your crack, cocaine, and your tricks there, because it's not going to work out project-based housing anymore. So anybody near project-based housing is also subject to the king and queen. So if you're out there hooking on the sidewalk by the projects, your ass is gone too. They're probably going to run license plate readers out there. So everybody's vehicles will be impounded that's connected with any type of criminal activity. And then you'll be subject to arrest the minute that you pull the car out the driveway. So there's no escaping this. There's no running from it. There's no hiding. Uh, the more dimes. So I encourage those that are living in project-based housing, uh, look, go to the bank, buy you about a bag of dimes, and just start dropping them fuckers. Drop it to everybody in the house, your kids, your aunts, your uncle, your extended family. Go down to the graveyard, wake up grandma. Just report hundreds of times. Whole family. Call the family across the nation and continue to report. If it's Unit A1, report the shit out of it. Report the housing authority. Let them know what the housing authority has been doing, how they manage that property. Bless that housing authority with an indictment. That way we can get business straight, because this has gone on long enough. Enough of these reports on the property will sufficiently show the misconduct of the housing authority, and then one by one, their ass will be towed in a federal court and then indicted. And so this will not be a situation where you act like you don't know. Okay, that'll be the end of it. And it would be my best hope and interest that the president would also seize the property from PHAs that are unable to control or manage it, or otherwise complicit, and they are absolutely 100 complicit. You don't own, a housing authority does not own the building and manage it and issue the ability for people to enter and not know that people are being terrorized. So the game's up. So make sure that anybody, if you suspect the maintenance man ain't from this country, report it. Okay? That way we can clear all this trash out of there. So there's nowhere left to run anymore. And if the president sees fit, again, he can put the military out there. You ain't got a chance in hell. Okay? And once they run the plate readers out there, you're all done. Okay? You got a warrant for even stealing bubble gum, your ass is gone. You the minute you start the motor, flashbang, handcuffs, you're gone. They're not playing. Okay? So that's your warning. So let's talk about the phone number, 1-800-374-3735. You should, most of the rest of you Americans across California, New York, Chicago, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, Austin, Boston, Mass. Congratulations. You're about to get rid of your biggest problem and your biggest adversaries. The president saw fit, and he's now federalized this, and that tip line will guarantee almost with certainty that these people get put out of there. If the suspicion is raised enough, then they can review leases. And if you invited Uncle Bob over that smokes crack and he goes out there and does something, then you and your lease is terminated. You'll get your ban from that, and then you and Bob can be charged criminally for being complicit in drug activity. So make sure that you run a criminal check on your guests before you have them there. They're no longer going to play the game. Okay? So for you drug dealers and the rest of you guys, you better check in the motel, because if you're anywhere near that project, your ass is gone. Okay? I'm rather thrilled with this, because I have been a major advocate through years, 26 years as a consultant, Section 8 consultant. I've had to deny clients any right to go to project-based housing because they're in fear of leaving their own home. They're scared to walk to their own mailbox. Many people have been tricked into moving to that stuff only to be terrorized. I had a lady that not even 2 weeks ago sent me pictures of her minivan, which had children in it, was sprayed with a machine gun. Okay? This is out of control. And this was allowed and permitted and ignored by the very people that own the building, the housing authority. So when you drop that dime, make sure you got two in your pocket. One for the criminal, one for the housing authority. Explain to them how they're complicit, the caseworkers that ignored your reports, and, let it go from there. OIG, like I said, is a federal agency. This will now be investigated not only by them, but 5 separate federal agencies. And they're also considering including part of the military in this, whether it's National Guard. And this is not going to be an exclusive for just Memphis, Tennessee. This will be rolling out nationwide. And so get ready. This is the easiest way to free up the housing market. You get rid of the people that commit the crimes and the problems, and you get rid of the people that aren't criminals that allow criminals in there. You get rid of the assistant manager, the housing authority, the pool boy, the maintenance man that's out there selling weed and everything else. Okay? And again, you suspect them for not being here. You see the maintenance man's out there, can't speak a lick of English, and he ain't got his papers, then it's time to go. Okay? I got nothing against the Spanish community, but you need to be here legally. Okay? So you see a contractor pull up, okay, Hernandez Contracting, and if that dude is out here and he ain't legal, report his ass. He's part of that project. The minute he's out there doing anything in that property, any contractor, anybody, if Mary's Donuts shows up and Mary looks like she don't belong in this country, or she's out there, she don't look like she's doing the right thing, report it. People out there acting a fool at 1, 2 in the morning, report that shit. Okay? You don't need to put a name on it. Ain't nobody going to know it's you. And remember, get the whole family around the turkey table, get all 95 of them out, and start dropping fucking dimes like you've never seen. Drop a whole bag of them. It's time to go, Flo. People tired of this. Okay? I'm tired of it. This is your one chance. Okay? They're making it possible for the feds to be involved. And let me tell you, this is one of the rarest thing I've ever seen, because typically HUD and federal agencies don't get involved in the affairs of the housing authority or the properties they own. But they do now. And so I can tell you that the president's looking for a big victory here in terms of putting people out the country, as well as arresting anybody suspected of any form of criminal activity. If you somehow made it in that project and you managed to bamboozle everybody and you're running a criminal record, you went in there as a good Christian and all of a sudden you've been hit with a few meth charges, your ass is gone too. They will review all the leases. So might as well go ahead and pack up the meth pipe, get your ruby red slippers, and head on out of town. Otherwise, you'll leave there in handcuffs, okay? So I'm just warning you guys, that's the way it's going to go. Scott Turner ain't going to get on national news to tell you that, but I already discussed quite a bit of this with our contacts at HUD, and it's much more expensive than you think. And every report is going to contribute into the investigation of the housing authority, because we all know they're complicit, okay? It doesn't mean everybody in the building is, but you don't not know what you're doing with your own property. This has been a fabulous game of running what I consider to be a drug syndicate, basically. You're the housing authority. You're putting people out there and endangering their lives. You mismanage the property. You lie to people. You violate their Fourth Amendment rights. And then you allow prostitution, drug activity, gangs, illegals, and everybody else in the property. And then you act like you're the three monkeys, where you can't see, hear, or talk no evil. Well, that game's up. You will be federally indicted part of this. And if your property gets too many reports, I can tell you that the next visit for the feds will be your housing authority. So enjoy your holidays. All right, moving on from there, let's go into comments. And this will not be a long video. I'm going to keep it fairly short, and that's hard for me. I love to talk. So Sheila Davis, hello, good morning. Tank says, good morning. BB, this is wild, isn't it? Right? Y'all want to look, you park at the Dairy Queen across the street from the projects and get you ice cold beer, man. Sit across the park and watch how this shit's going to go down. You're going to see en masse. The paddy wagon is pulling around the corner. They're pulling up mini paddy wagons. We're going to have a revival at the projects. You're a criminal, you're going to get revived, okay? Once you land in federal court, it ain't like that old county judge. You've been arrested 98 times. You get you a $2 bond and you walk out an hour later, it won't happen no more. Feds don't play that game, okay? They only sign leases at 70 and 85%. So you get 10 years, you're going to do 7.5 or more. From what I understand, feds is 85%. So, and they don't negotiate. They have no vested interest in you. They just prosecute. There's no gambling. There's no hoping for a plea deal. You simply go downtown like Julie Brown. It's over with. Okay. And they're looking for drug charges, especially. So if you're a drug dealer, man, look, you're about to do 200 years. Okay. You even got a speck of crack in your pocket. And I'm telling you, you might as well go ahead and shop for coffins, because you're never going to leave that prison ever. Moving on from there, Valerie, greetings. Actually, season's greetings. It is, isn't it? I can't think of a better way to celebrate the holidays than watching a bunch of criminals go to prison. Joffrey, hello, and to the kittens. By the way, quick update for the kitten we rescued at the gas station after it was thrown out of a car window and had a spiral fracture to her leg and partially made deaf because of this evil person. I'm going to go get her today. She'll be resting in a recovery box that I've made. Okay. It's cardboard box, and that's to help her separate from the other cats. So for those of you that have followed that story, our little Kiki's coming back, and we're looking at reviewing names. You guys that chipped in on that, and thank you guys for those that sign up for the GoFundMe and send a few dollars for her health and care. So I appreciate you guys for that. Amanda Christ, yes, I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited with you. BB, people are going to call left and right. You bet they are. And like I said, this needs to be just like church on Sunday. You need to call everybody on your phone Rolodex. I don't care if they're in Alaska, and report. As long as that person in Alaska at some point visited, then they can say they even testified to what's happening there. So bring in all 95 family members, make 108 calls, and don't make sure you drop that dime on the housing authority. Let them know, guys. Voice your opinion. The housing authority is signing up drug dealers to live in the property. They do it quite frequently. The manager is as crooked as a thief. The maintenance man doesn't appear to be from the country, and most days he's just got a rusty hammer and a saw, and nothing gets repaired. But the bigger issue is he's out there dealing drugs, and so we only need suspicion here. Okay, that's it. Drop the dime. Okay, you go to church, make an announcement. We need all 1,000 congregation members to report the shit out of this place. Okay, and anybody that you suspect, that's what you need to do. This is a rare offering by the feds. And again, it's 5 different federal agencies. So we're expecting en masse arrests and incarceration for criminals across the board that engage in any activity related to the project-based housing and public housing that is owned by your local housing authority. Owned, operated, run, and maintained by the local housing authority. So I can't think of a more sweet treat than a more beautiful gift you can give back to the housing authority by getting their ass indicted, especially the ones who are complicit in this. And there are many of them that do it. And so they're going to be looking at the number. I can tell you that Scott Turner, under President Trump, they will be reviewing the numbers. And I would love to hear the meltdown in the housing authority when they explain that they're running an open air market for drugs, trafficking, sex offenders, and everything else in the property, and they've done nothing to address it. I can't think of a better way to spend Christmas under the tree, thinking about and wishing the housing authority well with its operating like the mafia, and now they're going to get caught. And I think it's rather ingenious, because though they didn't publicly put that out on the platform, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're counting the points against each housing authority based on the number of the activity in the property. And there's a lot of managers and assistant managers and fake ass contractors call themselves maintenance men of these properties. Well, a lot of them are fixing to get their ticket punched. Okay. The Wild West, those days are coming to an end. And I'll be glad when this rolls completely nationwide. Anybody in the country can report this, by the way, as of right now. But the singular focus, which will include all state agencies and the additional 6 federal agencies, the beginning pop-up is for Memphis. We hope to be able to report on the rollout nationwide and in every city across America until we empty out roughly 90,000 of these people. Okay? So moving on from there, Margaret Harris, what about people got their baby daddy living with them lying on Section 8? Look, the only people should be in the property outside of being a guest, reported guest in project or public housing, means if they're there, then they violated the lease. That means the leasee, as well as the people there that are not visiting and living there, they're subject for eviction. And depending on whether or not, technically they committed fraud. So the feds could see it as fraud. So baby daddy gets arrested for one, being trespassed on the property. 2, the leasee, the master leaser, using federal funds to commit fraud by having people in the property shouldn't be there. Both be committed under fraud, and then of course terminated, and then likely banned from the system. So it'll take out baby daddy, everybody involved. Okay. So watch your company. Watch who you have walk up there. The federal investigators only need to see walk to your door. You don't even got to cut turkey. So you better check your guests. Do not invite criminals to your house. Do not invite people with warrants. Do not invite people who look like a problem, because That's all they're going to need at this point. Once the feds lock them up, clip them up, if there's any problems at all, they're gone. Okay. So you should expect a high turnover, probably maintenance men, assistant managers, and probably a changing of employment for many of your caseworkers that work at the housing authority, because the ones that manage project base, they're going to be solely responsible for the activity of that property, and you can't say that you didn't know. Okay. Joseph, thank God we have options. Oh, you've got plenty of options now. I can tell you that if Scott Turner himself got on national TVs regarding this matter, they are not joking right now. Okay. This ain't no initiative by the city police. For the president and the head of HUD to involve 6 federal agencies, including the highest level of law enforcement in the state, including the state attorney general's office, it ain't no joke. It is no joke for the project-based public housing or for the housing authority. So if you work for the housing authority, you think you're going to walk out of this scot-free? Every phone call to you about your property, that's another nail in your coffin. Okay. And once that thing reaches about 15 to 30 reports, you get investigated. Okay. And I want you to explain why you had 71 illegals, 41 drug dealers, 36 prostitutes, why there was 983 crimes committed on the property, and you didn't do a fucking thing other than run your mouth. Okay. Also, there can be civil action behind this, because if the feds arrest people that have terrorized you on the property, it would be also a possibility to take civil action and sue both the housing authority that were responsible for the activity, as well as the management of the property, and anybody that has harassed, terrorized, or otherwise violated your rights. So you see, this is like a bouquet of options at this point. So this is what I've advocated for as long as I can remember. And now it's due date. This is the new initiative for 2025, the holiday season shakeup. It's called endless paddy wagons. For those who don't know what that means, it was a derogatory term for the Irish back in the day when they were arrested. But in modern days, the paddy wagon means you're a criminal, and we're going to pull the bus around, and we're going to stack you in there like dead bodies, and then we're going to take you down for indictment and arrest at the federal level, and you don't even get a bond. Okay? Next time you see freedom, it's after you do 75 to 80% of that time. And if you get caught with the drugs or anything like that, man, your ass is gone for a long time. It ain't like county jail. Jim Bob's presiding over the county jail, letting people off for $1. They don't work that way with the feds. So I'm quite excited. We're handing out gifts this holiday season. The gift of a prison cell if you march your ass into or out of project-based or public housing. And nothing gives me greater glory than seeing that, because now I get to watch people be able to live decently. Just keep in mind, guys, this isn't going to be an overnight deal, okay? They're not going to just go in there and rip everybody out. But do remember, a lot of federal agents do not need a warrant. Make no mistake. They can suspect certain things, and they don't necessarily have to have a warrant. If they suspect that person's in there, they pretty much take your door off the hinge, okay? They don't need a judge to sign shit. And if they assign any particular person as being a national security threat or otherwise terrorist, they're not going to come in the warrant. You'll just end up in a black site. Okay. So we should expect DEA to be out there as well, full force. So they'll be gobbling up junkies all day long. Don't think because you only hit the crack pipe on Sunday that you're not going to, nothing's going to happen. You're going to go too. Okay. You're going to be, they make no distinction between the dealer and, oh, wow, we got $5 of meth. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to put you in federal prison now for that. And then they'll probably charge you for trafficking as well. So there isn't a minimus to this. There's only a maximus. Moving on, Ms. Gogley, I'm watching for the beginning. Knowledge is power. It truly is. I'm excited for the holidays for you guys. For those of you doing the right thing out there and you're in project-based housing, you've suffered through this, this is a gift. This is a gift to you from our government, from the current president and Scott Turner. And though I don't agree with everything that any president does, I think this was one of the best decisions I've seen this year. And to be clear, Scott Turner, the director, is an African-American man. This is not a target. The goal here is not to target African-American people. It's to target criminals. And they make no distinction. Okay? Asian, look, I can tell you half this deal is going to be immigration. Okay? That means anybody They don't look like they're from here. And then the second part's going to be anybody that's a criminal. Okay. So I don't want the African American community or those legally as Hispanic community that are families here to believe that this is unnecessarily targeting you. That's not the goal. The goal is to remove criminals. Okay. And for that, that's quite appropriate. So for many of you that are struggling with these little assholes running around the property, shooting guns and talking trash and hurting and injuring and committing crimes, along with the nasty leasing agent, the assistant manager, the jackass that can't ever fix anything there, but yet calls himself the engineer or the property maintenance man. This is your chance. This is how you take that shot at them. Okay. When you know they're complicit in the activity out there, nobody gets away. Okay. The feds investigate everything. The more reports there are, the more they're going to hammer that property. So we expect that there's going to be some rolling news about this. All right, guys. Well, if you like our content of our channel, I'm going to say for the first time, you can like, subscribe if you wish. I'm going to put up a couple links here to make it easier for those of you who are seniors, those that are on a TV, that don't want to type things in. So let's put up a little bit of information here for you guys. If you want to subscribe, here's a super easy link to use. Click and you're done, right? If you like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe, that'll give you notifications. Also, we have membership here, okay? It's like $1.99 to $5, but what that allows is that allows you to hop in this live chat, talk to you about anything you wish about Section 8. It also allows you to get notifications really quickly, okay? So subscribing as well as membership does that. The membership really does it really well. And also memberships, though it's really cheap, like dollar store cheap, what it does is we use that money to support the care and animals that I deal with personally. And though they are my financial responsibility, I think we all as humans on earth share that responsibility to show our goodwill towards those that need our help. And that would be our dogs, our cats, our pets, and those that need us, okay? So wishing you guys a happy holidays. I had to rush this video very early in the morning because I've got to go to the doctor. I'm going to go talk to them about a weight loss solution, and today starts that day, and I'm trying to drop 80 pounds. Nobody wants to be 200. You know, I got on that scale at that doctor's office. I made my eyes like to pop up my head. 298. I don't look like that, okay? I know I'm fat, but geez, I was like, my God. And then my blood pressure was perfectly normal. The doctor goes, this is the most weird thing. You've got perfect blood pressure, but you'll fast. So we're going to address that. I believe they're going to address it with medication. So you'll watch a fat face go thin over a year's time, I suppose. So I'm going to go address that along with dieting and a different type of exercise. So I thought I'd throw that in there for those that couldn't care anyways. But so I've got to rush out to the doctor here. All right, guys. Well, I will see you this afternoon if you want to join me again for more positive news. And again, let me post the phone number for this, guys. I'm going to post it all over. We're going to post it in the live. We're going to post it in the bottom of the description. I want you guys to start early. If you're from Memphis, Tennessee, now's your chance, okay, to get out there and set the record right. So, and this is anonymous. They're not going to come and interview you. They're not going to disclose who you are. Nobody's going to drop the dime on you, okay? You don't, and again, don't mind your own business. This is the time to be nosy-rosy in your property. Everything that don't look right, continue to report day by day by day. Stack the deck against both the housing authority as well as the criminals there. This kind of pressure is what they need, and the feds will come out there in mass and do mass arrests. And that's the goal probably over the next couple of weeks for Memphis, Tennessee. They're going to storm every single project out there. And what you're going to see is a chaotic flurry of red and blue lights, federal agents storm properties, and only the Christians will be left. Okay. Those that act right. Okay. If you about the wrong thing, your ass is grass, you're gone. I'm just telling you. So here, let me post that number for you guys. Call the feds. This is that one great opportunity. Thank you for all the likes, 100%. For those that disagree with this, well, we'll see you in prison. Okay. The only way anybody would object to this is if you're a criminal. I'm going to try to address a few more comments. I know a lot of you are asking questions, but seriously, I have to go to the doctor. But Amanda, the police is allowing it, and they have their own officers. Again, this is now a federal matter. Nobody cares about the police officers, but I understand your contention there. The police aren't doing much about it. Well, that responsibility has been snatched from the Memphis police now. It is now a matter of 6 federal agencies, okay? We nor need or require anybody with a toy badge and a gun at this point, okay? The feds will handle this from here on out. The feds will call the police if they need them to direct traffic at this point, okay? So clearly HUD and the president understand that a bad job's been done. They understand about the managers. They understand about the housing authority. This is your opportunity to bring that to light, okay? That's why I'm being so repetitious. Anytime you get such a gift as having the feds open a little phone line and is begging you to bring them out there to indict, to arrest at the federal level, then you better get on that phone line. So that phone line I posted down there for you. It is 1-800-374-3735. They're accepting calls now from Memphis, Tennessee. So if you see that the community is rather lopsided, if Memphis starts to tilt one way, it means the jail's starting to get full, and then there's a lot of other people that are just not criminals on the other side, okay? So Memphis is going to tip a little bit today, and they're going to continue to tip through the new year as they do mass arrests. And for those that are not legally in the country, you will be ripped out. If you host, if you even so much as employed next to a person does not belong in this country, and you invite them over for a breath mint, you're in violation of your lease. You can be charged. You're complicit in the activity of hosting in any way, any illegal. So if you've got friends and so on, you're not sure about their residency in this country, don't let the feds catch them in your house, okay? Because you and your family will you'll get charged, and those other people get deported, and you have a lot of explaining to do. I don't think a lot of you understand the different level. The Memphis City the police is one thing, the feds are another, okay? They're in, look, they don't answer to nobody but themselves. So this is not a matter really for the Memphis police. It's a matter for 6 federal agencies at this point. They don't require the assistance. They do not require any assistance from the Memphis police, okay? Unless you have a minor crime, they may call them to bring a unit around and then take you to jail there. But otherwise, you'll be dealing with the feds at that point. So make sure you call the number. And remember what I said, invite the whole family, friends, family, congregation, run flyers around town. The whole city can report the whole building. If you are living in a neighborhood as project-based housing and there's problems there and you see specific actors, report it. Call every day. Keep calling. Burn that fucking phone line until it actually breaks. Okay? This is the one chance you're going to get, and they're gonna run this all the way through 2026. And so the number will be widely available for the whole nation, and we're going to see the biggest mass arrests of criminals we've probably seen in a long time. That will likely lock up part of even my own city. So I'm expecting somewhere around 10, 20, even 30,000 arrests throughout project-based housing throughout the city. And city leaders are going to have to take a whole hard look at the housing authorities that have been complicit in the activity, did nothing to protect the people that live there. And of course, the primary responsibility, the people who are really going to get some hot water, or the people that manage the property manager, assistant manager, and everybody that works in that office, including the maintenance man. You guys are going to be in some deep, deep water. Because maintenance man make entry on people's apartments all the time. How did you not know what was going on? So you can expect a pair of handcuffs and complimentary slippers to the local prison, okay? They're not playing with you anymore. You don't get to say, oh, I didn't know. I didn't think about that. I didn't see the 4 kilos on our coffee table when I fixed this thing. So you should expect your own indictment as well. And so there'll be a high turnover of bad managers at this point, because after the housing authority gets tore up, they're not going to be able to run these properties like they used to anymore. Okay, where we're just doing what we want and we're being payable to one household, not the other, because now this gives you a lot of power. When things go wrong on that property, that manager don't want to list and act right, you drop them dimes. You keep dropping them until you see her leave a handcuffs. That's how you play that game. They played that game on you. So give them the gift they're given. That way we can all share mutually in the misery, right? You want to make my household suffer in your property, then let's suffer together equally. Today's the day to level that score. You know, if we're going to do this, let's do it properly. You know, I get the misery, you get the handcuffs. So if you work in project-based housing, you run a property, you might as well quit your job and sign up for a voucher yourself, because I guarantee you're not going to make it a whole year before you get indicted. I'm serious. And many of you, oh man, I'm gonna tell you, it's probably gonna be a job ender as well, because you're probably gonna have 400 or 500 people report you anyways, and so you'll be having a conversation with any number of federal agencies as to why you allowed it to become an open air drug mill in your own property, and then they may even suspect you're part of it. So you may never get out of prison again, all because you decided to be shady, low class, and do what you did, right? Now the people have been given the authority to drop the dime on your ass. And so I advise, if you're going to work in a project-based housing, whether you're the maintenance man, the pool boy, or a manager, you better act with respect and treat people with dignity, because if you don't, it's going to be a hard ride to the police station. Okay? They're not playing anymore with this stuff. Well, guys, that's it. I'm done with that. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to drive to my doctor's office completely bubbling over this. I might even go buy me a roll of dimes, because I can think of a few situations around my own city where they completely lost control of the property. The drug dealers are just now running it completely. But that's all fixing to change. They're handing out Christmas cards to the federal prison. If you'd like one, please commit a crime, act like you're a criminal, and you get the free gift of a prison sentence. Okay? Happy holidays. We'll see you guys again later today.